Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Daily Run, and today we are playing as Isaac. And I'm sorry this video is a bit later than usual, that's just because I'm a bit sick, you can probably hear it from my voice. So I record the next day, not the day I actually play the daily, which means that then what happens is I have to upload it like 4 hours after the daily comes out. And this will happen for the maybe next 2 or 3 days, just until I get better and I can get back into the groove of things. But for now, this is maybe the most comfortable I can record in because I feel the best in the mornings. So I hope this won't be too much of an issue in the next 3 days, but then, like I said, we'll be back to normal or back to schedule. So a new daily every time a daily rolls out. So that's 12 GMT plus 1 or whatever your local time zone is. But let's go on with the show. So we are playing as Isaac, which means that we can expect a lot of high variance in this run. And there are, like, I see so many possibilities here, like you can really do a lot of things. You can reroll some pedestals twice, you can reroll 2 pedestals once. And I'm sure that there is a combination of rerolls on the first floor that nets you with like a really powerful item. Or at least that's usually how these things go, at least with Isaac. I think I did the best thing I could. I found the treasure room very fast. I rerolled it thinking that I will get another charge. Then we wouldn't get it if it wasn't for the battery drop. And because of the battery drop, we did manage to get another charge. So what I did was I fought the boss. He gave me toothpicks, which I think is a good enough item, and I rerolled Able, which is the worst item of the two, and then I rolled it into Tractor Beam, and now we're stuck with this combination of the Tears Up, the toothpicks, and the Tractor Beam, which I both think are actually very solid items. One thing I don't like about Tractor Beam is just the fact that you shoot straight, which means you're very limited in your direction maybe, because it's hard to dodge enemies sometimes if you just shoot at them straight and not at angles. But regardless, I still like the item. I like what it does. I like the aesthetics of it most of all, and I'm happy to have it. Basically, it doesn't come up often, but when it does, I think it makes the run look and feel a bit more unique than usual. So I ended up rerolling the shop here. I felt like that was a good idea because we had some money, and that would. I thought that would bring us some good items, but sadly it didn't. I also rolled the treasure room once. Sadly, that didn't bring us anything, and there was no devil deal to reroll. So, you know, kind of maybe made a few bad rerolls or maybe unfortunate rerolls. So I'm sure, like I said, if someone did take a different pet there, maybe rerolled one pedestal twice or maybe rolled different pedestals, they would get a few better items, but as it is now, I'm just going through the motions, trying to do my best. Thankfully, due to the small rock on this floor, we're in an okay position. I'm not a fan of fighting Mega Fatty in this small room, but thankfully this guy isn't too difficult. So we get an angel room because there was no devil deal on the previous floor, which is not too bad. I mean, I don't mind fighting an angel. This particular variation is very annoying because it has a lot of HP, but what you can do is the key piece that he drops, we can re-roll it and then get something better. And we get the Circle of Protection, which is an item that doesn't seem like much really, but I really grew to appreciate it during this run. Like, not only does it look badass as hell, and not only does it have a chance to reflect enemy shots into homing shots which hit the enemies, then it also like gives you an added layer of defense against tears, and it's very useful against bosses which just shoot, like, which are a bullet hell. So bosses like Hush, which we're not fighting in this run because this bomb only does go to Mamsard, but I'm just maybe making an example. And I really thought it would be useful against the Stain, but somehow the Stain never did his bullet tears attack, and you know, that's unfortunate, just because I really was looking forward to just seeing the Stain kill himself with my Circle of Protection, but hey, what can you do? So yeah, at this point we're not really having too many DPS ups. Like, the only damage up we had was Small Rock, and we had actually a lot of tears up, and I think at this point our tier cap is already maxed, just because at a certain point the tears up just won't do anything for you, and you're already shooting at a maximum speed. It also doesn't help that we're fighting mainly enemies which fire in a straight, like the skulls. The skulls are like the most annoying enemies you can fight whenever you have anything that shoots straight, just because it's so hard to dodge them. Having angle shots against them really helps, but thankfully, because we do have the map, we can kind of optimize our path and not visit too many dead ends and rooms, just because the longest path on the map usually leads to the boss. we can kind of use that to our advantage to visit the boss rooms early, and then, you know, hopefully we'll be able to also get to boss rush in time. Also have the Emperor card just in case if things go bad, and things did go bad, of course, as expected, and we even fight the red mom, which is not a mom you want to fight when you don't have any orbitals, but you know, I think it's still better than maybe like blue mom, which would have a lot of enemies, and we do manage to finish her in quite a reasonable amount of time. Here I was thinking, you know, do I take the smart fly, the revenge fly, because I think that is gonna be the most influential and the most helpful item in this boss rush, and I just get intentionally hit here. First of all, I try to use it maybe a bit, but then I just get hit because I think the revenge fly is actually gonna be very helpful for us. The other option here was, maybe the better option, was taking the blood rights and then re-rolling that every 3 rooms, but then again, you know, I feel like on average I don't think we're gonna get a better item for boss rush than revenge fly, and I think taking half a hit of damage just to make the fights a little bit easier is okay. Another good thing is we don't really have to go to harsh as well, which means we can take our time with fighting a boss rush, and having the revenge fly means we can just kind of stay back, not worry about the enemies, and it'll do all the work for us, so we don't really need to get into the way. At first I actually didn't realize this run only goes to Mom's Heart, so I was being a bit hasty and just trying to kill enemies as fast as possible, but when I realized it, I think it's noticeable that then I just kind of stop and not worry about it. It happens, I think, during the carrion fight. Of course, I'm still trying to use my tears to hit enemies just to make it go faster, because there's still damage penalty for just taking a lot of time, and if there's no too many issues, of course, we should be shooting whenever we can. So the most annoying maybe combination of this fight was the Angel and Death. It was the Black Death as well, so the champion variant, and I really dislike Death as a boss, mostly because of his sights, and especially the Black variation, the champion variation, because the sights are so dark, it's so hard to see them if you have a curse, or maybe in boss rush, just because the floor is so dark. And yeah, I just really don't like that. I think he's over the course of like the past 40 videos, he's became one of my least favorite bosses to fight. I'm never happy when I see him, and it's really funny like how our perspective, or my perspective I guess, changes based on the bosses I fight, which bosses or enemies I like or I find difficult. I know I remember at a certain point I really disliked grit heads, so you know, the little heads that hop around and like fire 2 shots. They don't really hit you if you stand still, but they have a lot of HP, which means that they are hard to deal with, especially there's 4 of them, and there are some room variations where they're kind of hard to deal with, but they're just not that big of a problem anymore. Most of all, I think because they just don't appear as often, but also I think just because there's so many more annoying enemies to fight, like the blue chargers which explode in tears. They have a ton of HP, and especially when you get the Mully Booms, I think they're called, which spawn the chargers, then that's when things get really scary. So you see me here actually just going for the sacrifice room, and I think this is definitely the best choice. First of all, because we have cancer, we can actually afford to get hit a few times, just because we're only getting hit by half a heart. So we are in a good position to actually get teleported to the dark room, and because there's only 1 floor left, and I can't bank on having another sacrifice room on the next floor, so if I want to maximize my score, I think this is the prime time to actually do it and just teleport right now. So we're stuck in this position with just the Halo, I think, the small rock, and I think the meat, which are all not very significant damage upgrades and some tier upgrades, and our circle of protection. So we only have like these very few components to actually go through the dark room, and I'll say that this was one of my most fun dark room fights. I like fun in the sense that it was just super challenging, and I really enjoyed doing it. I really put like all my focus into it just to get through. Obviously some rooms are still so difficult that it's hard not to get hit, but I think actually I did pretty well. I was kind of lucky with some rooms, but I think that's kind of required when you have like a run that's so bad as this one. I did make one major mistake though, and that was when I was fighting in the curse room, or I mean the sacrifice room, where I was sitting myself on the spikes. What I should have done, I rerolled the first item that dropped, but that was not the right thing to do, because I knew I was gonna fight the angels, which means they're both gonna drop 2 key pieces. I mean, they're both gonna drop 1 key piece, which means we'll have 2 key pieces in the end. So I could have rerolled 3 items actually and not just 1. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I wasn't like looking into the future so much. I just think I forgot that they actually drop key pieces even if you fight them in the sacrifice room. Maybe I thought they only drop key pieces when you fight them in the actual angel rooms, but yeah, that was like a mistake on my part. And I think if I rolled all 3 items, I would have had a much better chance in the dark room to fight against the bosses here. I mean the boss, the lamp. There's only one boss. But I mean just the overall floors, because, you know, there are a lot of bosses. Either way, we are at the lamp now and we are fighting him with all our might. You can see just how little damage we have. So this is gonna be a hard and a long fight. But at the same time, like I said, it is one of those fights that I think were very exhilarating and very exciting to do. I also think I made the right play here by going to the dark room because of our cancer trinket. I just kind of used everything we had to our advantage. Of course, like, because this is an Isaac daily, I expect people to get really crazy runs, just because they rolled different items than I did. But with what we had, I think this was definitely the right choice. And I think this will net us the most points in the end. So the part now when he splits, I really thought he's gonna split at half health. I never noticed that he splits at less, at less or more than half health. Which like I said, yeah, it's very surprising. But thankfully, because we do have the cancer trinket, which of course does give us that half a heart of damage intervals, I feel pretty safe fighting him. I think I only got hit 3 or 4 times in this whole fight, which I think is very remarkable because I never fight the lamp unless I'm really super powerful. Which means that I just don't see his attack patterns that much, so I guess I'm not used to him. Because, you know, when you get to the lamp, most often than not, he just becomes super powerful. And a real shout out to both Circle of Protection and the Revenge Fly, which really carried me this run. And I just got a new appreciation for them. I think I'll pick them up whenever I can. So our score is actually pretty good because I played this later in the day, which means I'll rank in the like top hundreds if you exclude the cheaters. I played this about 12 hours in. Just as a disclaimer, and you can see our time was horrible, which means I did get the short end of the stick, which means I really did reroll bad items. But that said, I really thought this daily was fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope to see you next time, guys, and have fun, of course.